Welcome to my channel, everyone. For this week, I am going to eat a vegetarian diet. Now this is vegetarian and not vegan, so things like egg or milk products are still on the table. And I did my very best with Googling, is this vegetarian? But often the answers came up whether it was vegan or not vegan. So you can let me know if I make any mistakes, but I am checking everything before I eat it to make sure that it does fit into the vegetarian diet. I know one thing that will change. Usually on top of my spaghetti, I always eat like a spoonful of grape jelly. I just really like it on there. But in my research, I found that jelly is not vegetarian. So just join me this week and let's see how it goes eating a vegetarian diet. This morning for breakfast, I'm going to make some avocado toast. So in my bowl, I have an avocado, some canned chickpeas, and then just a pinch of flaxseed. So now I'm going to just mash all this up and make one uniformed mush. Usually this looks a little bit more green and appetizing, but I did a Walmart pickup on my avocado, so it wasn't exactly ripe. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the mixture on top of the bread. I toasted a leftover bun I had. On top of the avocado, I'm going to place some zucchini. I'm also going to put a chopped up tomato on there, just a couple pieces of it, and then a nice big piece of lettuce. I'm going to fold it over, put it on there, then put the bun top on, and there is my beautiful brunch. Instead of avocado toast, I'm having an avocado sandwich for brunch. Pretty much exactly like toast, except you just put another one on top, another piece on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a taste. This is pretty good, but I do like avocado toast. So this is a great start to our week as a vegetarian. Good afternoon, everyone. I was wanting a little snack today, so I cleaned up some red grapes that I'm going to eat. I prefer red grapes over green grapes, so since it's my diet, I picked what I'm going to eat. So let's have some yummy grapes. Very good. For dinner, I am making a black bean and sweet potato salad. For my salad, I grated 1 carrot, chopped up a stalk of celery, microwaved, chopped, and cooled 1 sweet potato, used my leftover black beans from the fridge, and chopped up a bunch of lettuce. For the dressing, I used some olive oil, a couple good squirts of maple syrup, the tiniest bit of apple cider vinegar. I'm not a fan of apple cider vinegar, and since my onions are pickled using it, I didn't want to put a lot in the dressing. Some onion powder, salt, and pepper. After putting a little dressing on my bowl of salad, I then added the pickled onions. My dinner is all finished. It looks and smells delicious. That's really good. And those pickled onions that I pickled with apple cider vinegar just adds the final touch to it. Very, very yummy. Today for breakfast, I'm going to make a blueberry breakfast crumble that I found on Nikki Vegan, her YouTube channel. So I start with 1 ripe banana. Mine was frozen, so I had to make sure I thawed it out, and then I put it in my bowl. 1/4 cup almond butter, 1/4 cup maple syrup, 1 cup oats, a pinch of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon, and some crushed nuts. Then you stir all of those together. Next, you take a 12-ounce bag of frozen blueberries, but mine was 16-ounce, and you mix it with a tablespoon of flour. Then I decided to go ahead and put parchment down in my bowl, and then I put the blueberries in the pan and put the topping on top of it. I just spread it all over. So now I'm going to put it in the oven and bake it at 375 for 45 minutes. For dinner, I had a stuffed sweet potato. It's stuffed with sauteed vegetables and also some of the leftover salad from last night. I did not end up finishing all of the salad. Stuffed sweet potato is one of my favorite meals. It is just absolutely perfection. Also, a note on the salad, if I remade it, I would not put celery in it. That taste didn't seem to go with all of the other flavors in the salad. And I also would probably add some raisins. This morning for breakfast, I'm going to make a black bean breakfast wrap. And so I'm just gonna cook a few black beans with some taco seasoning to start it off. I've added the black beans to a tortilla, so now I'm gonna add a little hot sauce on there, a pinch of flaxseed, and an avocado. Now I'm just gonna roll this up and then put it on my little bitty inside grill to give it a little bit of a crunch. This is the first time I've made a black bean breakfast wrap, so we'll just give it a taste together. I really like the grilled taste on this wrap as well. So all the flavors seem to work well together. And like I said, the grilled makes it about 1,000 times better as well. So I probably would not like it in a soft, like taco type shell, but I really am enjoying this. For supper, I'm going to make a homemade potato salad. It's inspired by the Rainbow Plant Life potato salad, and I do say inspired because I took out some of the ingredients, changed some of the ingredients, and then to top it all off, I used baby russets, which she specifically says not to use. However, these are the items that I had on hand, so we're going to make my version of her potato salad using items in my refrigerator. I've rinsed my potatoes and now I'm putting them on the stove in cold water. I'm supposed to season them generously with salt and then bring the potatoes to a simmer. Once they start simmering, I will cook for another 8 to 12 minutes. Now I'm going to work on making the dressing. So I'm going to add 4 ounces of coconut yogurt, 1/4 cup of tahini, some Dijon mustard, a garlic clove, zest and juice from 1 lemon, some chopped up celery leaves because I had fresh celery in my refrigerator, and some salt and pepper. To my potato salad, I'm adding 1 stalk of celery, some red grapes, and then also a chopped up shallot. Now I'm going to add the drained potatoes to the bowl, add the lovely yogurt and tahini dressing, and then I'm going to stir it all up and serve it. I forgot to add garlic to the sauce, so I just went ahead and added a little garlic powder to the overall potato salad. So now it's time to give it a taste. I like the grapes in there. It's pretty good. It's just the tiniest bit tangy, and I don't know if that is the tahini sauce, because this is only my second time cooking with tahini sauce. So I don't quite like the tanginess of it. It could have also been the yogurt I used. So I would need to make sure to get a less tangy yogurt next time, maybe not coconut based. But overall it is pretty good. Today for breakfast, I'm just having some of the cold blueberry mix that I made up the other day. Now the reason that I put it was okay, but I wouldn't make it again, is it seemed kind of bitter after I made it. And usually my blueberries don't taste bitter once I've cooked them and everything. So I'm thinking that maybe putting the flour on them kept that kind of bitter taste that blueberries sometimes have. But other than that, I love the topping. The topping was really good, and I just don't think the blueberries got cooked quite right. I do think that the blueberries taste better cold, but overall, maybe if I hadn't put the flour on there like instructed, then it would have been better. I'm going to enjoy my breakfast, and I will see you later. Today for dinner, I'm making some cabbage soup. This is from the recipe off of Downshiftology's YouTube channel. So right now I've just got 2 celery stalks, 1 large carrot, and then 1 whole sweet onion is what I used. And I'm just sauteing them up real fast before I add everything else. I've added a garlic clove, and now I'm adding oregano, basil, and then also a little salt. Some seasonings to our yummy, smelly soup. I've added my cabbage, stirred it in, and now I'm going to let it sweat for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to add a can of diced tomatoes and 4 cups of chicken broth. And I'm also going to put a little pepper in here. She adds her pepper at the end, like after she takes it off the heat, but I'm going to add my pepper now. And then also I'm supposed to bring this up to a simmer and then simmer it for 10 minutes. She also adds her parsley at the end, but I'm going to add mine now, just so it has a little cooking time in there. It is starting to bubble, so starting to get a little simmer. I spread some lemon juice over the cabbage soup once I turned the heat off. And now I'm just putting some in a bowl for myself. This is extremely yummy cabbage soup, and I look forward to eating my bowl. My dog was not feeling well this morning, so I did not record breakfast, but I just got out some of the leftover blueberry breakfast that I had made earlier this week, and I think this was what, day 2 or 3 in the fridge, and I'm actually really starting to like it now. I think the longer the blueberries sit in the refrigerator, the better they taste. I put a pan of salted water on the stovetop, and after it had been on here for a few minutes, I went ahead and added my broccoli. Then I added a clove of garlic. And once everything was starting to get a little bit tender, I added the spaghetti. I'm gonna go ahead and whip up a yummy sauce for my spaghetti. And I'm gonna start with 4 tablespoons of almond butter. I'm gonna do just a little rice vinegar, so I'm gonna put a little on the lid, drop that in. Some teriyaki sauce. Maple syrup. I might have to get my other maple syrup out because it looks like this one's almost empty. And I want to do about a tablespoonful. All right, I got my other maple syrup. I'm gonna put a dash of that in there. Stir this up, and then I'm gonna add some water too, just to kind of thin everything out. I drained my pasta, added the almond butter mix that I made into it, then added a few raisins and some sesame seeds. So now I'm ready to serve it. Pretty good. I can tell you what would make it better. It's a nice big dollop of grape jelly. But I added the raisins to try to add a little sweetness to it. I'm thinking maybe I should have just added some grapes. The peanut butter makes me want, or the almond butter, makes me want grape jelly even more. But all in all, it's a pretty good meal. On day 6, I made the Easy Bake Oatmeal from Downshiftology. I know that she does her wet and dry ingredients in separate bowls, but I don't have a dishwasher, and I'm trying to limit the amount of dirty dishes I have. So I just did my wet ingredients first, and then added my dry ingredients. This just came out of the oven, so we're gonna try it out. Very good. It's really creamy and has a nice little cinnamon taste to it. It's really, really good. Welcome to the last day on the vegetarian diet. This morning for breakfast, I'm just having some of the leftover Easy Bake Oatmeal from Downshiftology. It's been in the refrigerator, so I'm going to see how it tastes cold. It's pretty good. A little chewy, but that's to be expected. So I'm going to enjoy my breakfast, and I will see you guys later. I'm making some stuffed pumpkin shells. I'm using the recipe from Downshiftology with a few modifications. So I've started out by putting some water on to boil, some salted water to cook the pasta shells in. And now I've got my food processor, and I'm going to start adding some items to it. I'm adding 1/4 cup nutritional yeast, a little garlic powder, and a little onion powder, some olive oil, juice from 1 lemon, some pepper, as well as some salt. I also added a block of extra firm tofu to the food processor, and I'm just going to mix it all up. I had to special order these jumbo shells, and they are not cheap, so hopefully they are big enough for this recipe. I have some onions and olive oil here on the stove, and the onions have been in the pan for a little while, sauteing, and now I'm going to add an elephant-sized garlic. Now I'm just going to add a little pepper and a little salt to this mix. I've put my tofu mix in a bowl, and now I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese, a 1/2 cup of it, a little dash of cinnamon, and then also some pumpkin puree that my aunt made from a pumpkin. I'm going to add a can of coconut milk and 4 tablespoons of flour. Now I'm just going to transfer this to a blender and mix everything up. Alright, I'm all done blending everything up. So So I'm going to put, I've got a baking sheet here and I put parchment down on it. And I'm just going to spread a little of the sauce on the bottom of the pan here. Now I'm going to add the shells on here and then stuff them with the tofu mix that we made. I poured the rest of the onion mix over the top of the stuffed shells, and now I'm going to place them in a 350-degree oven for 25 minutes. All right, they're all finished, so now it's time to try out the finished creation. Very hot. They just came out of the oven. These are really good. I think they would make a great addition to a Thanksgiving meal. And if you're not being vegetarian, I'm sure you can use something other than tofu in the mix. It is kind of an involved recipe, so you definitely want to make sure you give yourself time to get this done. I really enjoyed this week. I used some meals that I already eat, modified a few meals, and also tried some brand new recipes. A few of my new favorites are the black bean breakfast wrap. I will definitely make this in the future. The blueberry crumble I found to be a great meal prep item, and the spaghetti and broccoli with the almond butter sauce. Of course, I will be adding grape jelly in the future. As for the cost, I was able to utilize a lot of my leftovers that I purchased for the Mediterranean diet. Therefore, this would have been very cost friendly if I hadn't bought the jumbo shells. So the shells will definitely have to be for special occasions only.